guys, it's Chantel with Wildberry Quilting, and this is a Flosstube update. Now, I've gotten a lot done, and I've also decided on a few things that guess you're just gonna have to wait and see. Okay, so let's start with completely finished projects because I have completely FFO'd two things and I am so excited about it. The first one is my very first cross stitch finish from last year, and I've got it all framed up now. I am so excited. I think it looks so good. I've got it all paper backed back here and I've got the little hanger on it, and I am just over the moon with how it came out. Super duper excited about that. And I'm not sure if you're going to see this video first or the tutorial for how to frame it, but in that video, I framed this. And this is like a double win because you guys haven't seen this completed yet. And it is completed with everything done to it. It's already framed and everything now. This was the Treehouse Fabulous House. And originally I was not over the moon with it. I wasn't in love with this pattern, I should say. I felt like it was not green enough for a tree house, but I chose green fabric to put it on. And I feel like that really livened it up. And I'm so excited with how it came out. And I absolutely, oh my gosh, I can't talk. Absolutely adored doing these little flowers. They were so much fun. Now, all of this area in here though, that was some work. I feel like it shows up better now, especially on camera. It shows up better, all of the detail that is in here. Each one of these little boards has a different design on it. And that was just very hectic. It was a lot of work and it took seemingly forever to do it all, which is why I am so far behind with getting it done. But I made up for it by getting it completely done and framed. And this is so far the only fabulous house that I have completely framed and finished. But now that I know how to do the framing, I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of this. I absolutely love doing the framing. It is a lot of fun and it just makes me feel like it is so completely finished afterwards. Now, I do still have to go through and add the little picture frame hanger to the top, but that's not a big deal. That'll be easy to complete. So I'm not worried about that. Now, I will say if you guys happen to know where to get the little gallery tag stickers, I would love to pick some up and then be able to label it on the back. Because the one thing about having this frame so close up to the picture is that my signature kind of got hidden in the framing process. But I think it'd be awesome to get the little gallery labels for the backs. Tried looking up just gallery tags and wasn't able to find them. So I don't know if maybe I'm just searching for the wrong thing. Let me know if you know though, because I really want to find out. All right, those were my finishes so far. And let's move on to whips. And I'm going to start with this one. It's the card one. my traveling one. Actually, you know what? Have you guys seen these? Yeah, I had showed you this one already. I just, I am so very close to done with this. I should have changed out this needle minder because it does not match the project at all. But it's just the one I had with me in the car. This is so close to being done. I have to go through and just complete this top little bit right here. And once oh, and that butterfly and that butterfly. Oh, and I guess I need to do the spokes on the tires. So I do still have a little bit to get done with it, but it's very close. And once I do get completely finished with it, I am going to have to soak this to get off all of the print and the writing. And I've never done that before. So I think we might do a video on it and see how well it works, how well it comes out. I'm excited for it. I will say I'm definitely going to be doing these spokes different than how they have them on here because they've got some kind of funkiness going on. It's like, I don't know what they were thinking with the spokes, but that's okay. We'll fix that up. I still have a bunch of floss left, which it does not look like much, but it didn't look like much when I had first gotten it either. So, oops, I must have lost that one out of place. Yeah, it just kind of, because it's such a small project, it really didn't come with a whole lot of floss. But it seems to be enough to get me through. So that's all that really matters. I will say though, for this one, this was a Joy Sunday, and there was quite a few places where the printing was off just a little bit. And it was, I don't want to say it was difficult, but it was just kind of like, pretty sure this is the right one, but if this was a much more densely printed project, that might have been more difficult. Thankfully, it was a very lightly dense project, not dense project. So it wasn't an issue, but I've just been stitching on it here and there, and it's gone pretty quickly, I think. Definitely faster than the kitty cat one, but I think I've decided that I really enjoy having the printed cross stitch for in the car, but for just cross stitching on my own when I have everything that I need, I definitely 100% prefer counted cross stitch. And I actually did a whole ton of work on printed cross stitch this month, but I was starting to like really not feel it and not enjoy it as much. And then I ended up switching back the to the counted cross stitch, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a million times better. I love this so much. My joy for it came back, and I definitely need to limit the amount that I work on the printed cross stitch, at least for me personally. All right, this is my next whip. My goodness, do you see that? It is looking so gorgeous. Now this is from Sprouting Lupine, and it is coming along a little bit at a time, but I've really been taking my time with this one. I could have had it done already, but it's just been one of those a little bit at a time kind of stitches. And I've worked my way almost over to these vinies, and I definitely think that I need to pull these out and restitch them, because if you remember last time I mentioned that I was 2 stitches off. I just made it too tall over here. And I have no idea how I ended up doing that, but I would have let it slide if it weren't for the fact that it's going to bump into the wings. So before I continue with the wings, I really should go through and pull that out and redo it. Other than that though, it's going fabulously and I'm super excited about it. I need to go ahead and write up all of the information for the color conversion if you guys are interested. I won't bother with it if you guys aren't interested, but if you are, if you like how it's turning out and you want me to write up all of the information for the color conversion, let me know and I can do that. All right. Let's see. Next. All right. So this one is going into the naughty pile. This is the Mona Lisa brand printed cross stitch. And goodness gracious, look at this mess of thread that's all crazy here. I got a lot more done on the butterfly. And then I realized that I don't think the butterfly is going to show up at all. And it should. In the picture, you can definitely see that butterfly should be visible. But I don't think it's going to be. This is how it's looking for me so far. And a large amount, you probably can't tell, but there's actually 2 or 3 different colors that I have stitched on that butterfly. It all looks like one color to me. One is like a very dark navy blue, and the other one is a very dark navy green. I don't know what you'd call it. And if there's a third color, I think there is a third color. I think it's a darker navy blue or it's a black. But it all just looks the same. And this purple, all of that is going to be one of the colors that I've already stitched in here. I think it's going to be like the green color. So if all of it's blending together in the butterfly and I can't tell where any of those spots are on the butterfly, how am I going to see where the butterfly starts and where the background ends? It's just going to look the same. So I'm kind of disappointed with that. I'm not loving it. I asked my husband his opinion, and he thinks that it'll be more visible when I've gone through and filled that in. I'm not seeing it though. I don't think it's going to be more visible. I think it's just going to disappear into the background. And granted, the butterfly really isn't the main focus of it. It's the flowers, which obviously the flowers are going to stand out. But I was kind of doing the butterfly to gauge how well everything would show up. And if the butterfly is just going to disappear into the background, that does not give me much hope of how the rest of it's going to look. I don't know. Maybe I need to move on to stitching on on one of the flowers and see how the colors look on the flowers, because maybe that'll stand out more and I'll feel better about it and I won't care at that point whether the butterfly shows up or not. It's just a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. And for right now, I mean, look at how big this project is. It is huge. I don't want to stitch all of this and have it not look right or have things not showing up. So for right now, I think I'm putting this one away and I'm going to think on it. And maybe when I'm feeling really, I don't know, adventurous or curious, I might pull it back out and try stitching on one of the flowers and see if I'm happier with that. And if I think it looks good enough to just forget about the butterfly and not worry about it. So for right now, that one is going away and you guys won't see it again for some time because I have no plans of when to pull it back out. Okay. Complete side note. Look how well these little echinacea flowers matched up. Isn't that awesome? I apologize for the screaming. I think my children are playing tag outside and that is not a quiet game. So it's a bit noisy in here or out there, but making it noisy in here. Okay. Next. This is the jar of strawberries and oranges. And I am making a lot of progress on this. I have some strawberries starting to show up, and I'm very excited about that. That is a new development. I've gotten like maybe 75% of this strawberry done and a little bit less than half of that one. So there's a lot coming together on this, and I'm very excited about it. Just to turn it around so that you can see how much is actually there. You can see I've kind of jumped all around because I like to use up whatever color I'm working on. So if I have just a small chunk in one area, I'll use that thread until I get done with that chunk, and then I'll cut it and I'll move it to a different area that has that same color and finish off that thread. I will say this is 11 count, and I don't love working on 11 count just simply because I don't like having to work with 3 strands. And probably the biggest reason I don't like working with 3 strands is just because it's a bit of a hassle to get it started. I mean, it's not really. I did figure out how to do a loop method from the front with 3 strands, which I'll have to do a video and show you guys how to do that. But I still don't like having to start with 3 strands. It's so much easier just to do a simple 2-strand loop. So, it still is looking awesome though, and I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to get that one done because that one I like. But again, it is a printed cross stitch, so I have to kind of spread out my working on it because otherwise I get too focused on trying to make progress and I don't work on my counted cross stitch charts, which I prefer. So I really need to, I don't know, maybe I need to set up times. I've seen where some people will work on certain projects on Monday and they'll work on other projects on Tuesday, and or maybe they'll work on one project for a week. I think for me, I'd rather break it up, like maybe 2 days for one project and then 2 days on another project. But oh, and I should say that that project is from Yishu. So that's the company that makes that strawberry jar. All right, let's see. I think we are on to new starts, which happens to be the barn house, which is the fabulous house for, oh, is it June or July? I have no idea. I'm so far behind on them that I just don't have a clue. But I've got this going on, oh, what is it? 18 count Lagoon from Fiber on a Whim. And I think it's going to be really pretty on this. Of course, since it's the barn house, I've got to have my little chicken needle minder, which I just made the other day. That was from one of the pins that I got from Alum Ink, which, of course, are my favorite. I love all of her stuff. But the barn house is part of the Fabulous House series, which is put out by Cottage Garden Samplings. So if you're interested in that, that's what that is. I am really loving this though so far. This little sunflower was a lot of fun to stitch, and you might not think it would have been because of that absolute hassle that the Hobbit house was with all the vines, or the roots, I guess. But these vines are fine. I did not mind these at all. And even these scraggly parts, the petals on the sunflowers, those weren't problematic either. So I'm excited that that was the case. I'm not sure if that's because the pattern itself is easier to work for some reason, if it has to do with the colors of the threads, or if it's because I'm doing this on, what is it, 18 count? Yeah, 18 count instead of 20. That could also have something to do with it. I do prefer, I think my favorite sizes to stitch on are 16 and 18 count. 14 is just a little bit too large, I think, and it doesn't give you as clean of a picture. It looks more pixelated. And 20 count is just a bit annoying to have to pull out stitches. So, and it also feels like progress is so slow on 20 count. But 16 and 18, I'm really happy with those sizes. I think those are going to be my go-to sizes for stitching. All right. Oh, and I did make one change to all of the colors are the regular colors that they had suggested, except for the barn is supposed to have stripes on it. And I decided I'm going to do my barn all one solid red color. Well, variegated. It's like a overdyed floss color. I'm going to do it all one. And when I ordered the colors for it, for the color, I had picked one of them. I picked the Manor Red, but it's looking a lot lighter on camera than what it actually is because my settings, my color settings are messed up on my camera right now. It's actually a lot darker than this, but a lot darker than what it's showing, but it was too dark. I don't want it to be that dark. So if it was the color it was showing up on camera, I think it'd be fine, but it is very dark in person. And these are the two DMC colors that they had suggested if you did not go with the Classic Colorworks. And I got both of them so I could kind of see like if it was worth me ordering the other color of DMC or of Classic Colorworks. Which, by the way, those look very different, don't they? This would be the equivalent one. But anyways, I had gotten the other DMC so I could kind of see if I thought that would work. And I don't really feel like either of these are that barn looking of colors. So I just completely substituted it out. I happen to have some, I think this is, yeah, it's licorice red from Classic Color Works. I happen to have some of this on hand. And I just happen to have two skeins. So I decided I'd use that. And I think that's going to be a really pretty color for the barn. All right. I think that is everything. You guys have seen it all. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to link Fat Quarter Shop down below because that's where I got a lot of this stuff. I'm also going to link Sprouting Lupine and any of the other places that I got stuff from so that you can find it all. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye.